Hi, Rohil. Uh, Welcome to SW India's podcast. Thank you so much for taking time. So, Rohil, if I recall correctly, you graduated from Coimbatore, did your engineering probably way back in 2013, 2014. Uh, my understanding was that you were the youngest to speak in the World Mobile Congress somewhere around the same time, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so you started your journey very early,
Yep.
at the time when the Indian startup ecosystem was still evolving, still emerging. We probably
Yep.
had heard about at that point of time, Flipkart was probably the one, and then there was some ecosystem around that. So you were pretty young at that time, just college graduate, you passed out. So what really made you think that this is going to be your space, your sort of life where you're gonna become an entrepreneur. So it's so early, so young. What really inspired you to be a founder, to be an entrepreneur? That's the first thing which I have in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so one you like you mentioned, it's early in the startup ecosystem overall India, but from where I'm coming from, I'm from like northern part of Kerala, and the entire Kerala was like extremely new to the technology entrepreneurship during that time. And I'm from a place there's no kind of technology entrepreneurship at all. Even in my family, there is no other engineers, right? So,
Oh,
but I'm like even my school dates. I'm super passionate about computer whenever I get access to in my 8, 9, 10 this kind of time. I started learning programming during that time. Whenever in the schools, you will only get computer access during the period, right?
right.
The
It's
specific
it's very
hours.
very limited time. So and
Very
that
limited,
too in a
right?
class of 30 students. So you have got probably 10 or 15.
Yeah,
And that's the mota one, the big thick ones lying
yeah.
on the some slab out there. So you get probably 10 minutes during your slots.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So, luckily, in our place, we had a something called Akshaya. It's a government computer center that
Okay.
started during that time, which people come over and use Yahoo Messenger and play some games and those kind of things. So I got a chance to go there and use computer more because the person over there, I start building a relationship with that person, so that gave me more access to the computers from that computer lab. So I utilized that very well, and after 10th, I want to continue with the computer science. Again, there was only one high school that had a computer science in my place, and that's like you need like top marks and like it's like top level, right? So I was not like too much into the mark side, so I could not get into
Hmm.
that. Then I took science, the regular one. I got into a really good
Okay.
another high school, but I was doing more computer and phone and hacking kind of things during my plus one, plus two, than other things. So
Wow.
it's all like started a little too early than my engineering side. So then after plus two, I want to get into the computer science engineering. So that's how one of the option I got is in Coimbatore. Even though I want to get into a college which can provide computer science, but should not be like too much expensive. And I didn't get like, other much mark for uh, colleges in Kerala. So I took that path. I got into Kadir College, and that is the best opportunity I got. Is that the college was the first college, like we were
Hmm.
the first batch in that college. There is no
Okay.
seniors, right? It's a
Okay.
fresh college. So that actually gave me a lot of opportunity. I built a college website. I built a student management system. It's all like the first year of my engineering in the college, and that gave me a lot of freedom inside the college to whenever I want, I can go and use computer in computer lab and special permission for internet access, all those kind of things. So all those drive me to really work more towards the innovation technologies and all. And I was learning a lot with human machine interfaces, building gesture interactions, not like the traditional software, but more like crazy things. Even though at that time, I would say it was early, but that's where I got super interested. So just after the college, I didn't had any other option to work in another companies because not much companies were working on those kind of technologies. So I thought I want to start it, to build the next gesture interface.
So if I got it rightly, so instead of, because everybody looks for an established college, established schooling, uh, and you will have an opportunity to get placed as an campus placement. So
Yeah,
instead of this being a disadvantage, it became an advantage for you because you being the first one in
yeah,
the college, you got everything what you wanted to be in that
yeah,
space. So yeah, so
absolutely.
I think that's really good. But Roel, looking at the kind of product you have developed and you are developing right now also, as a layman, we keep on calling hardware and software. So if I look at your first product, it was a ring. It was a
Yeah,
Bluetooth-enabled ring, trying to do a control through a gesture movement and all that.
yeah,
Even now, also when you're working on the mini computer, sort of, you can put it in your pocket, you can have it on
yeah.
your wrist and all that. Now, where the difference between the software and the hardware sort of stops? What's the line? And this becomes more important nowadays because everybody, if you keep on hearing, every company is a tech company, right? So you
Yeah.
don't know really. So what is really a hardware? What is really a software for people like us? Hardware is like the computer we are sort of having, the mobile phone we are having. That's sort of an hardware. But I don't think so. That sort of a definition really is the definition in current times. Or
Yeah.
probably you're the best guy to sort of throw some light on where the line draws.
Yeah. See, the reason I started building hardware during that time, because during the college days, I was building just interface that is like a software. The camera of the computer can identify my movement of the hand and convert into the
Hmm.
gestures. But I found like people not going to use these kind of actions like in the movies, in the real world,
Okay.
sitting in front of the
Hmm.
computer and doing these kind of actions. So I want to make that more private. And I found we have a really beautiful hand and we have a touch surface, right?
Right.
So how about we
Right.
can use the thumb to make the touch, just like we touch on the phone screen, we can
Oh,
touch on the
interesting.
palm to make the gestures. And to make that, we need to have a hardware. So that's how I step into the hardware to solve that
Okay.
problem, right? So the first prototype I built was like an optical mouse sensor. Take it out from the mouse and put that into the thumb. So when I move my thumb over other fingers, I can get the coordinates and that convert into gestures. So I would say it's completely based on the kind of problem that we need to solve. And if it's need a hardware, that's where we are linking software and hardware, right? And that's happened with the glasses because I want like a workspace that I can carry in my pocket, a multi-screen workspace, and we have
Right.
monitors, and there is no way the physical monitors we can carry around with that level of
Hmm.
portability. Physically, it's so big, and to solve that problem, glasses is the best medium, and the glasses can sit close to your eyes and can have a small display, low power. At the same time, it can deliver bigger and multi-screen experience. So,
Got it.
but hardware is super hard as well. Even when I started back in that time, it's like not much very companies are working on the hardware side. Um, and the ring and miniaturization, those kind of things was like super hard. But you know, I always strongly believe like we need like some really good external support, especially when it is hardware like capital and
Hmm.
manufacturing, shipping, and importing to India, those kind of scenarios and all to move things faster. But that time was like extremely hard, and even fundraising and all these kind of things. But yeah, I just kept moving.
Got it. So, Sohel, when you started, should have been somewhere in 2014, 2015, right? How difficult or easy was to have an access to the capital? Because nowadays, it's still sort of difficult, but it's not that difficult what it used to be. But how difficult it was for you? Uh, what was your sort of first real lessons as a founder when you really went into the market and wanted to have the real money to make that product, to make your sort of thinking, make your dreams come alive? What was when did those things didn't go as planned? What you really had in your mind?
Yeah, so one really good thing helped me to raise $3 million back in 2014 from Clary was we got selected into TechCrunch Hardware Battlefield. That was Jan 2020, 2014. So that was a
Mm,
great validation. And after that, TechCrunch featured us, like a lot of people were talking about us. This created a really good momentum, especially with a hardware, a new just a ring, that kind of market, right? So we that's one of the reasons it, it was hard, and but Kalari took that bet to invest, and that's how we could able to get into the market just after a year. End of 2015, we mass produced the ring from Japan and launched in the US market with a bunch of retailers. We shipped close to 5,000 units. Uh, but in 2016, I lost the company. That's another lesson I learned. But uh, we we cracked the fundraising. We cracked taking prototyping to mass production, get into the market, then losing the company.
okay, so let's talk about a bit of that. So, what really happened? Well, and I think more I'm sort of interested about, and our audience interested to know is that what was your sort of learning out of that, and what really went wrong? How does it really impact your later journey as an entrepreneur, as a founder?
Yeah. So so one thing, the one of the mistake I would say, like blindly trusting people and give all the access without it thinking too many other things. Access to the product, access to the manufacturing. So it's like it's the complete access, um, which lead to have other person to have a more control, not like in paper, but
Okay,
the value that we created that's gone into someone else's hand, and now they can do whatever they want. They can negotiate, they can throw us out, right? So it's
right,
kind of, because while I'm doing Nemo, and after that, uh, we have advisors in the company, but there's a limit that things that we can share, give access, and there's a line that we are
right,
not
right.
crossing, right? So that is something, one of the lesson I learned, which also part of the reason to keep the relationship as well. We don't want, like, they also feel like complete control of the company, and they can do all these kind of things. So they also mentally feel like it's completely in their hand, right?
Right.
Then they can start thinking, oh, things are not going right, and we need kind of more access and more control, etc. So creating a balance with the advisors and investors will help.
Okay. So essentially, what you're saying is that the fact that it's an IP and it's something which is core to an organization. So it's very important for an organization to really have some sort of control, some sort of understanding that you are not creating your competitor within the organization. So if
Yeah,
somebody moves out or somebody got an access to that kind of an IP, then there has to be a mechanism to have those sort of protections in it, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
this is where the role of advisors, role of consultants comes into the picture. But again, not becoming so overboard
yeah,
in that, so that can fail
yeah.
the execution also. Because if you become so tight around the documentation on the legality side of it, then probably you are killing the innovation. And am I right in that?
Yeah, see, after an early startup, even though if you have like strong legal documents and all, maybe you'll get into a situation you cannot legally go and fight. Because, for example, in our case, we have the company in the US, and uh, the parent company was in the US, and if we go into a legal situation, so it's all like, tons of time waste, tons of money, a lot of efforts. This goes into a different phase, right? So
Right.
small companies, small
Right.
teams maybe cannot protect that way. So the best way is like you should not give out too much things, all right?
Hmm.
Which
Hmm.
they not the paperwork, like the legal side, but the product and IP side. Also, you need a line that should not cross.
Correct. So what you call as the failure often teaches what success can't. So looking back, what did you learn about? I know you spoke about it. So what did you really learn about the people, about the timing, about perseverance, about keep going during those phases? So you've gone through these multiple times, well, right? So what really kept you going, and even now also?
So
Yeah, yeah,
I
please.
think yes, I think even though there are like multiple incidents that happening in different scenarios, which could make completely down to move forward, but the next step I will get another set of confidence. Hey, there's something better I can do. So that's actually happening from last two products or even the third product that I'm building. Sometimes everything will not align with what you're doing. Different things can go wrong, but I strongly believe like that's fine. Like we are not doing anything wrong. It's like we are trying to make something new happen, something great happen. So what's the best way we can crack that in the next phase? What is the next big thing that we can work on and make it happen in the next phase? So that's the thought process I have. So I'm like
Hmm.
super optimistic about what that we can do next by keeping all the learnings that we got from all the previous failures. So it's that's kept going, and it's also part of the reason is like um, you can see much better opportunities to build the next great product in the next phase of the company, and that's excite you more to work on it in the next different phases. And always if you see the journey of different kind of entrepreneurs, uh, some people get super good success in a very short time. Some people go super long way and will have some success. So yeah, sometimes things will not always align with what we are doing.
Yeah,
But
yes, right.
there's a hope,
Couple of
right?
things on that. Yeah, no, no, very, very true. So there's always a hope. Well, so I think just carry from there. Well, so you had your success, you had your failures, you had done your building, you're selling, and again rebuilding. So my question number one on this is that what is your personal definition of success? Right, that's number one. Number two, uh, um, for some it's money. For some it's living the experience of you build, you create something great, and all that. So and does it really mean when you're looking for that as a greater objective of building and creating? Some people have their own thought process that okay, it doesn't really have to be your own company. It doesn't have to be you being as a founder. You can really do that in the other aligned setups also, right? And that's where when I talk to other sort of technocrats, so they are sort of don't feel so great about being a founder. They feel really great about being a part of the team and delivering
Yeah.
things what really matters. Sort of, and in that sort of sense, they're saying we are also making great money. So
Mhm.
we keep on
Yeah.
hearing now people sort of talking about $100 million of salaries and all that. So
Yeah.
what their view is, it's not just about money, but of course, for them, it's a balance between both the sides, right? So
Yeah.
so what really is it really means for you
See,
as
for
a
me,
success and yeah, how
yeah.
that creating the differentiation. Yeah.
See, for me, it's super clear. The success means like the freedom for you to build more things in the future, right? So, which is one of the extremely uh, hard barrier that I had all these previous years is like, uh, if you have that freedom with money and the resources to will not that will not limit you thinking the ideas and the products, and you can go and build. And if you
Mhm.
have that freedom, you can do much better, much more. And all these years, I was like extremely limited. Even the ring, the glasses, like super limited to really push the boundaries to make that happen because of the external, the limitation that we have. So I think that's one of the reasons we are just put the hardware on hold right now. And we are focusing on the software side and get that into, I mean, reducing that barrier to get into the market, right? To get into a success. And once we are successful with the software, then we have the freedom to build more things in the future. So I would say that's the definition for me.
Don't you think that sort of freedom can happen in a large organization also when you are really
No,
driving the
no,
things?
because they
Okay.
have different other. So, I mean, it will happen. It's there is a good alignment with what they are also building. But there will be like different phases, right? Maybe next few years there will be uh, some company they really aligned with a specific kind of product category they want to roll out, and which is also really aligned with what we are doing. Then yes, there is a good alignment to get that into the product faster and better. But what if beyond that, right? So if that something we want to build beyond that, then again we need that kind of freedom to uh, the ideas that I have to go and build. That's not only in the short term, but the long term as
Hmm.
well.
So, so when you look at the limitation or the external factors, I'm just assuming that probably one of the biggest factor comes in terms of the funding, the money
Yeah,
part of
that's
it,
one.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So don't you see that this can sort of create a balance between because uh, if the money is or the funding is becoming a blocker for going for that kind of a development, then probably looking at a mid path wherein you join hands as a creator, okay,
yeah,
um, as a technocrat. So you join hands, you build something, you make something, and then at least part of that you have achieved. Uh,
yeah.
I know you create you have a great value for freedom. You have emphasis on that, but don't you think that it's sort of not putting a stop on what you really want to achieve in really this technology world?
No, so I like I mentioned, a good alignment with another company that are doing towards the similar kind of vision that really help us to move faster, which is something we gone through some experiments like last year
Right,
with one of the large company. You know that well. Uh,
right, right,
so that really help us to crack one milestone, and that can, let's say, couple of years, that can really help us to create the next big thing, because now the money will not be a great blocker, the resources will be sorted out.
right.
um, but that will be some, I mean, that definitely helped me to crack the current barriers with uh, the kind of funding can have, the resources connection to the resources can have,
Right.
the kind of network that we can build. So all those kind of things will get sorted to having a exit to one of the big company, right?
Yep.
And if you want to crack something in the future, like let's say next 10-15 years down the line, uh, something beyond what we are doing, then definitely get two choices: either continue building with that company if they're also aligned with that, or something start on to crack that. But I agree with you, to crack the one of the milestone, partnering with one of the big company and crack that phase will really help.
Got it. Got it. So, um, let's move from this topic. So, get into the AI, so the hot topic nowadays.
Yeah.
So, well, how do you see this AI? I know there are 100 odd people who can really speak hours and hours on the artificial intelligence. How it is really shaping your journey, your entrepreneurship, and also sort of looking at a wider sort of spectrum. Do you really see this is more around the AI is more of a hype, or we're talking about the job losses, we are talking about so many things around that, so many processes, so many value creations is gonna get automated with the AI coming in there. So is it really a hype, or are we gonna reach what you call the Terminator zone, wherein the AI is rising and there is going to be a fight between the humans and the computers. Uh, so we sitting outside of those fences, right, like in a cricket ground, you're sitting in outside of the fences, enjoying the game, but you guys are the ones who are playing this game, right? So how is this game playing out?
So definitely there is, it's not a hype. There is a hype definitely with any new technologies, but there's a tremendous value as well. That's what I strongly believe. Because one thing really going to happen, people will have a lot of time or of freedom to reduce their uh, stress work. You can just delegate the work to multiple AI and reduce your too much cognitive load that we are having right now, which can utilize for different other purposes. So see, one of the great future that I'm seeing is like especially with AI. Uh, we A lot of people will get more time to work on more science oriented things. Like imagine 50, 60 years back, the culture of innovation in science. Every university were like a students was like deeply involved with different science experiments and all. But last few years, because of the computer, because we can mostly stuck inside that social media and those kind of things, that kind of reduced tremendously. Maybe it's an opportunity. AI will take care of all those kind of things from the back end computing side, so we can really think beyond just like the innovations that happened 50, 60 years back. So what we are doing is like the same way to part of helping into that side of AI. The way I put in 1993 when web browsers that launched for people to access websites uh, using a simple interface. They can access any web apps and websites. So we need
Right.
something similar to that for the upcoming AI apps and agents, because the interface is completely going to change from the way we are using web browsers and websites going forward. I would say maybe the concept of website will not be there. Uh, we need like a new protocol, like HTTPS. We need a new
Mm,
protocol for AI. That's how we're gonna access the agents, right? And the
yes.
agents will be combination of multiple websites or multiple data, which intelligently give us like better results. So a good example is like how the transition happening from Googling to ChatGPT or Perplexity, that people
Hmm.
can get access instantly rather than they're opening 10 links in their web browser. So the same thing going to happen with any other products that we are using. So we are creating a new workspace and in an interface that like 1993 that people were accessing websites through web browser. Now there's a new interface that coming that people can access AI apps and agents in a completely new interface, and that's what we are building. It's a completely new platform for AI, um, and we are starting with like a very simple interface, like a canvas kind of space where
Hmm.
we can create AI apps and agents and manage and ask to do things and get the work done, those kind of things. But the core vision of the company is to create an extremely well designed operating system for AI, and where everything will be super personalized. The UI will be created based on your requirements, or the task that you are giving. So like everything will be dynamic, and it'll be like super beautiful operating system that we can interact with, which will not be not only for the existing laptops, but will be like for the upcoming AR glasses, spatial computing as well.
So what we are saying is fundamentally the way we see computers, the way we see the whole ecosystem built around that, the website or the apps, it's gonna more and more change in the time to come, and more so because the AI is the reality. It's not gonna go away. It's not
Yeah,
that hype. Uh, might might be a bit exaggerated, but that hype is gonna be there. It's gonna be there for a good long time, for us to
yeah.
get
So
used to it.
because the value is like that much. I don't know if you guys are using in the legal side, because
You started using it.
yeah.
In
See,
fact,
in
I
the
tell
in
you what, very interesting. Sorry, Rohil. So,
yeah,
in fact,
yeah,
what happening nowadays? Couple of our clients, they have started preparing their legal memo using Chat GPT, using
yeah,
Perplexity and all that,
yeah.
and sort of they are coming back to us saying that okay, we have already prepared this, so why don't you review it? So I think we, as an we are also feel that we are not gonna be sitting on the sidelines. We are not just we, but the whole consulting, the legal world is also gonna get impacted. The kind of I don't see that kind of an innovation here in India. It's more superficial around AI. Everybody sort of keeps on talking about AI here, but then my own sense when I talk to you to the other people around that, I think the kind of technology which is getting built around that, maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, how we execute, how we work, how we think, everything is changing, and it's gonna change in a very big way. We can't even think, we can't even imagine right now if
So
that path continues to be there.
so do you think it's like it's gonna be replace you or it's empower you? So the way I'm seeing is like a couple of years back, before we have this, Microsoft Word or Google Docs, those kind of things. All you people may be like all the terms in a paper, and you need to go through that paper, pin it, mark it, share with
Right.
other clients. You need to carry that into the client, and they need to review it. It was like losing tons of time or taking tons of time, right? Then transition to Google Docs or Microsoft Word. Now you can mark, comment. When we have the conversation, we share the docs and
Yes.
comment the
Yes.
suggestions, all this kind of thing. Save tons of our time. Do you think, going forward, AI gonna help you a lot with that documentation, finding out the loophole in the document, so you get quick understanding? Then you can suggest, a maybe for this kind of client, we can have different kind of terms, and that will make those kind of changes. So it's kind of empower you a lot with AI.
Yeah, it is, but it's gonna reduce my billable hours. That's the other part of it. But yeah, jokes apart. No, I think it's gonna move away from more of a manual jobs to a really the mental job. So
Hmm.
instead of spending 15 hours, wherein we are just seeing the presentation, we are just looking at the sketches. You're gonna really start thinking more around how you can really create value, what different it can happen.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the kind of shift which is we're gonna see. But when I see the other side of the problem is that when I look at India, when I look at the whole ecosystem, uh, we have got lot many people having their jobs, having their earning capacity and the capabilities which are limited. So they may not have that kind of a leverage with them versus people like you and me might have, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So people, the generation who is starting young, okay, who are starting people, we keep on hearing about the job losses. We keep on talking about
Yeah.
TCS sort of putting the brakes on the hiring, firing the people. Every single day, we have some of the other company looking at what's going to happen to the
Mm.
jobs. You talk about
Mhm.
Meta, you talk about even recently the Amazon. So they keep on saying that we're going to fire 16,000 people in the next
Mhm.
couple of weeks and couple of months around that, right? Now that sort of becomes scary when you're going to have so
Yeah.
many people having
True.
jobs, whatever
True.
jobs they
True.
are carrying, whether they are
Mm.
technical, I'm getting into that. But then there's a whole ecosystem which is getting built onto it,
Yeah.
and it's been there for last so many years. I think India went into this journey when they created Infi or the TCS of the world in the late
Yeah.
90s, right? It's
Yeah.
been and now if you look at the India's GDP, they are contributing. The services contribute the highest when it comes to our GDP creation, when it comes to the
Yeah.
exports also, right?
Yeah.
Now, suddenly, when we see this transition happening, I think uh, when from a technology development, from what you all said, your value creation time, what you are spending time on a banal things versus what you're gonna really look at the value creation, that's gonna
Yeah.
change. But then there is another dark side to this story
Mhm.
also. How
Got it.
no, and this is something which is I see this is a fundamental shift. I remember in early 2000 when every company was moving from a very simple computer system when it comes to the accounting to an ERP, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about the SAP or the Oracle or any of the ERPs of the world out there. So there was a
Yeah.
big fear in the minds of the accountants that okay, with the ERP coming into the picture, our jobs are gonna
Yeah.
go away. Okay,
Yeah.
we might not be needed because now everything is going to be done with the help of the ERP systems in there, right?
Yeah.
Um, it was more of a fear rather than the reality because at least personally speaking, I have never seen anybody getting fired because ERP has got implemented. People have done
Yeah.
the upskilling, people have got learned to that. But this time, this shift is different. This is
That's
how I
true.
see it. I
Yeah.
might be wrong. The
Yeah.
shift
It's
is very
different. Yeah.
different from what it was there in the 2000s. So uh, and that's where the fear comes in for the younger generation who are getting into the mainstream working areas. Yeah, so the future is gonna. I don't know. I'm sure the future is gonna be
It's
good. But yeah, so
so
they give
like
some scary thoughts also.
like I mentioned, right? So the new generation gonna get a better opportunity to do more on science and experiments and those kind of things, and especially the biology side, health side, because now we
Right.
have access to intelligence. Even a kid from nowhere from India can access to ChatGPT or other intelligence. They can actually think out of the box and use the AI to crack problems. So maybe we'll see like more opportunities, more different new things will come up that will create job for more people. But definitely there will be a completely upside
Yeah. So
down shift.
see, human psychology. So whatever little I know about it. So something when it is not clear is sort of dark. You sort of tend to fear about it. I think this is what is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah.
Things are unknown, and that creates a sort of a fear in the
So fear,
minds.
yeah, yeah,
So Rohil, so now we are talking about AI-driven world and all that, right? So you're also sort of you're getting your product developed on the similar line, right? How do you
yeah.
see yourself in this era? So you see yourself as a creator, as a strategist, as a mentor, as a founder. So how how do you define your role in this wave of AI?
It was like a founder and someone. I mean, me and the company really want to uh, always have a different thinking process, a unique way for every part of the product. So that's the reason you can see most of the products that we are building, even the glasses that we started back in 2017, it was too early. No other companies from India building glasses. Even now, there is only like one or two companies. Uh, and in the world, there is like four or five startups. They are really building glasses, and out of that, uh, Nemo, our company, and one other company is the only two companies have been really going towards the revolutionizing workspace. So I always and then rest of the companies are like big companies. with billions of cash, they're trying to do the same kind of glasses, right? So it's I'm super proud to work on all these early and learning from them. And those kind of experience is so hard to get from even people they are with running in a big companies, because we learned and execute with extremely restricted scenarios with capital and resources and all those kind of things, and we
Yep.
made that happen. We made the products, it's working and people are using, then taking into mass production. That's where we need more capital and all. But I feel like, I always want to be like a founder and not like a founder making things like different and unique and trying to solve uh, problem like crazy problems, and working on a crazy ideas. And I don't really like working on traditional kind of products. I will not enjoy it. Like if I want to make a ERP, or if I want to like a simple sales tool, those kind of things, I'm not enjoy that. Uh, I really want to see like pushing beyond what we have and what's the next platform, what's the next hardware, those kind of things. And I really enjoy that one. So that's the reason,
So
feel like, even if we fail, and it not feel like, it's losing time, or we you lost the time. I actually feel like I'm super proud.
it's sort of, so if I put it like this, so it's a sort of more of a creator with a
Yeah,
pinch of strategist, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Got it. Got
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
So then, the startup world, when I see here, it's sort of the whole playbook is changing, right?
yeah,
Uh, from a product obsessions to the growth obsessions, to the valuation obsessions, right? Um, to some extent, it is right, but to a large extent, it might not be, right?
yeah.
How do you see people like you, people like the ecosystem around yours of an entrepreneurs navigating this shift? And that shift sort of is happening very quickly. It's not that it sort of takes over a period of years. I think those whole playbook keeps on changing. I don't know what drives that change, but that comes pretty fast and pretty impactful. So
Mhm.
how you guys, how do the entrepreneurs navigate this kind of a shift out there? Because that creates a lot of pressure also. So there were times when there is a push to have a growth, there is a push to have the product, okay, irrespective of wherever you are. You just keep on doing and doing and doing. Suddenly, the push moves from to a profitability, to the valuation metrics around that. So how do you guys think around these pushes, and how do you navigate your organization, your company, your ideations around that, and your teams along with this?
Yeah, one thing even I'm hearing from other founders in the valley is like, um, competing with existing just the technology is extremely hard. If you're building like everything is wrapper, that's where people say like, everyone is building top of other LLMs. So any of those kind of products, the biggest the, the the barrier they need to create is like uh, getting into the market and getting feedback from people and trying to optimize and move faster with that optimization and the feedback and improve the product and quickly ship the updates. That's applied to what we are doing as well. So we launched the beta early, and we just roll out to a bunch of people. We got like tons of feedback, and we are moving faster with optimizing and fixing things. And especially the product like what we are doing, or anyone that building unique approach for uh, different industries. The core advantage that person has is to closely working with that kind of customers and optimizing for data, interfaces, user experience, uh, maybe fine tuning some of the LLMs for that use cases. So that will create a barrier to create your own market and get the customers into that. Because even I was reading one post recently, it's creating that very basic prototype quickly. It's much easier, super easy, like few hours of work kind of thing because of Cursor and
Mhm.
other AI tools. But getting into something that people can use daily basis, that's still super hard. AI is not still not there to help you to make the code that level of optimized, the user experience that level of optimized, the interactions and data. So still there's a big gap from that if the founder, the whoever is cracking, that's where you get the retention of the customers, right? Because there was one trend that happened in the last 1 year in the valley, which right now YC partners and A16Z everyone was talking about. There was a trend like everyone goes into the viral video. The founders will get into the video and things will go viral, and they get money, raise millions of
Mm,
dollars investment and all. Then get into a trap, which is there's no retention because the product is not that great to people to stick in the platform and use it in a regular basis, right? So you're gonna have a really high filter from into those kind of companies to really come out whoever with really good product and retention. And that's will not just work with vibe coding. That's really still need that core engineering and uh, closely working with that customers, good design sense, good effort into the design, good user experience. It's all like complete package. Just like Apple do the complete package, right? From the logo to the materials and the package in retail
right.
store. That applies for the software, especially in this current scenario.
I understand. So Rahul, so in this navigation, I think I'm just gonna bring this question back to me here. Sort of in
Yeah.
this whole navigation, how do you think um, the the role of advisors helps? Those could be your strategic advisors, those could be your
Yeah.
lawyers, your tax advisors, and the structures and all that. So how do you think that really helps in building the startups, in building for the longevity rather than for a short term vision, for a short term objectives versus what you really want to build on that. So, what's the role of the ecosystem of that sort of build up of lawyers, of tax advisors, strategists, and all that helps you in this?
See, especially founders from India uh, moving into the US and building companies and all. From day one, having their advisors from India and in the US for both tax and corporate side is extremely important. Again, that's also a good experience that I have gone through last year, and having say one of the great thing is like we've been closely working with last year for one of the large process
Yep.
acquisition process. So it was like great learning for me as well, and every other company and the founders that they want to start a company in the US. Whenever I see that in any founders group chat, I jump in and I try to help. Whatever I learned, because a lot of people doesn't know, right? And even
Mm,
nothing is like properly written, and there are like Stripe Atlas and those kind of things. Founders just saw that advertisement is go and register the company, but there's more in the back end. We need people like you and the lawyers and tax advisors to really structure that from day one, especially for a Indian founder, right? So I mean, that's super important from the product side and the tech side. That's one part, but the other side, especially when you go into the larger fundraising and exit and those kind of scenarios, is super important. So getting visibility to really good tax advisors, really good corporate lawyers is super important.
yeah. So I've advertised myself good.
No, I mean, and we need like people that we can really communicate, and you guys also properly advise and share things. That's something we got like a really good thing. Like you are like super helpful when you share things and explain things and understand the scenario. So I mean, that's also super important. People, they don't know the cross border. Uh,
Right.
the founder should. I mean, especially like founders, they're migrating to the US and managing companies in the US and India. They really need advisors who can understand the cross border, who can understand things that going out of India, right? So
No, you're very right. You're very right, Rohit. And sometimes we also need to understand that because law nowadays is so much of
yeah,
evolving every now and then. Sometimes we also feel very difficult to keep pace it with.
yeah,
And it's happening globally. It's not just in one country. So everywhere,
mm,
so much changes which are going on, and every government.
okay,
Even now, also, if you look at the kind of tariff war which keeps on happening, so everybody's on its toes.
oh yeah,
So one
yeah,
time, at one location, one country, there's some sort of news comes in. The other day, or probably
yeah,
by the evening, it changes. So
yeah,
it's keeping us also on the toes, and sometimes we also feel a bit worried that uh, are we really giving the right advice to them because we don't know really what's going to happen. What's
mm,
going to happen in the morning? What's going to happen 6 months down the line?
yeah,
So whatever you say now may not remain valid even in the next day itself. So yeah, these things gets
yeah,
very complex. But yeah,
yeah,
and from a founder side, when the obsession is on to build something, what I have seen is that those parts takes a backseat for the right reasons. I'm not saying it is wrong.
mm, mm,
Then the realization happens much later
I
when you're
agree,
going for ads,
totally,
when you
totally,
go for
yeah,
a fund, when you go for an exit and things like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
then the tricky situation comes in. No,
yeah,
you're right. So we have taken a lot of your time. I know it's gonna get a bit late. One last thing, and that's
yeah.
so you have grown older from where you started from 2013, 2014, and getting into the Mobile Congress. One piece of advice which you would like to have to your fellow entrepreneurs, as well as to the young ones, which you would like to give it to them for the journey, what you have gone through, whatever learning you have had it there. So one piece of advice which you like to give it to them.
See if um, so if I'm going back to those days and what to change, right? Um, see, I had like these crazy ideas and uh, touching hardware from day one because I don't know how hard it is to raise money for hardware. You know how hard it is to get components to India. You know how hard it is to handle the customs and tax
That's why
and
it's
all these kind of
hardware.
things.
It's hard. That's why it's hardware.
Yeah. So it's like if I have some understanding, if I know that one of the biggest thing is like I try to reduce that risk. What is the minimal risk to crack the phase one, right? So like I mentioned, when you crack few milestones, then you have the resources to do crazy things. So this is really helpful for other crazy people. They are like working on crazy
Mm.
ideas, right? um, Make and break down to smaller pieces. Uh, Maybe like the glasses that we made, maybe like have a bigger version of that glasses that goes into one specific use case, or maybe we will make like initially start with the software of the glasses, then push that into existing glasses, then build our own. So trying to reduce that crazy risk initially will help you to crack the initial few phases. Then eventually you can get into crazy ideas and uh, expensive products. Um, and also getting into, I mean, this is super important. Like there's a great advantage if you have uh, get into a network of uh, really well-connected founders, well-connected investors, that kind of a different level of community early as possible, right? That comes with, just give an example. If you are studied your undergrad in US and you got some base with people here in 4 years, that really help you when you start the company because uh, there's a good network that you can open with that, right? It's just
Hmm.
kind of a short to start a company. Um, so yeah, so maybe you need to learn a little more, little small hacks to reduce this kind of risk and get into that kind of network. Uh, how to build that crazy kind of products by step by step.
Got it. Got it. No, I think you're right. So probably that's why the old sayings are so the company in which you are defines you, right? So probably
Yeah.
that's what it really happens because
Yeah.
you have to be in the company of crazy people to build the crazy things. Uh,
Yeah.
so probably
Oh
Valley is
yeah.
the place to be to be in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you so
see, in
much.
India, we actually have a great talents, right? So all our design and the development is happening in India. So we have super good talents, but we don't have the complete ecosystem to support out of the box ideas and thinking and those kind of things. So that's improving. Like last 2 years, I would say like tremendously improved, and going forward, maybe like will be much better, especially with AI.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. So the future is bright. That's what
Yeah,
that we also see, and that's what everybody keeps on saying. So it's very
yeah,
bright for
yeah,
India.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rohel. Thank you so much for taking time.
Sure, sure.
Wishing you all the success for Nemo, for all the journey, and
Yeah.
wishing for making a small contribution in your journey. Thank you so much.
No,
Have
no,
have a
it's
great
a
day.
great big contribution. You're always like a great supporter all the time. Thanks a lot for spending time and giving the opportunity to have a good conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohel.